Good afternoon from the Finger Lakes region of New York. CW Sports welcomes you to Watkins Glen. What an awesome racing venue this is. Today it's the second road course race of 2026 for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Great to have you with us on this Saturday afternoon. It's cool here in New York. We welcome you into the broadcast booth with Parker Kligerman, Jamie McMurray. I'm Adam Alexander. I love calling road course races with you two because we all are such fans of this style of racing, and we are blessed today with an amazing field. The headliners, no doubt, Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilisch.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun to watch what these two have been able to do over the last 3 or 4 years in racing. And when you look at the comparison between what Shane and Connor have been able to do versus the entire field, 11 wins for these two guys, only 8 for the rest of the field. Look at the pole positions. They basically dominated that. We know today they're not getting the start of the front row because qualifying was rained out, but they are going to be so much fun to watch.
It's insane, 2 heavyweights.
And this track provides a lot of opportunities for them to put on a show. They did it last year. Take us through the track map, the layout here. Really, really cool place.
Yeah, one of the fastest road courses in all of North America, and it starts down into turn 1. You're going about 150 miles an hour, heavy onto the brakes, down to second gear here into turn 1, and you used to go all the way out into that runoff. It's paved. You don't now because they put tire barriers out there that stop you, and we saw the result of what can happen if you do try to get out there, and that is we get a spinner and Chris Wright goes bowling through those tire barriers right there, which you do not want to do. But you know what? I applaud NASCAR for doing this to stop them from going out there. Through the S's, hard on the throttle, up to 4th gear and down the backstretch, 170 miles per hour towards the bus stop, Jamie.
Yeah, massive elevation climb through the S's. You're going to approach one of the best passing zones on the racetrack into the bus stop, hard onto the brakes. Going to use a little bit of the curb on the inside of both of these. You exit out of that into what we call the carousel. Downhill, hard to see from this animation. You see the carousel, though, going to be a little bit loose on the exit. We're going to ride on board with Christian Eckes from last year. Watch him go through here. You can see use all this curb on both sides. Try to get a good exit. But the one thing we got to pay attention to is the exit of the carousel, because we're going to talk about it, the tire packs that they've added. Last year, watch these drivers. You can use all of the exit off of this corner. You're not even on the racetrack. You're going to see you go across the curb, out to that. That will not happen this year. But this leads up to another heavy braking zone, Parker. Good passing into turn 6.
Yeah, 160 miles per hour down to turn 6, and that sets you up for the final corner, turn 7, which is all about getting back the throttle as fast as you possibly can to get that run down the front stretch. But we've seen some incidents there like SVG and Connor Zilisch last year in a hard hit. One of the slower corners on this track, but you can just see how fast they're going around here. That hard hit, 2.45 miles, 7 turns. One of the most awesome racetracks in all of North America, Adam.
Look at it. I mean, it's massive. Acres and acres of racing goodness right here at Watkins Glen. Now we get our keys to Mobil 1 Victory Lane. What are you watching for today, Jamie?
Well, restarts are going to be everything. We've seen it every time we come to a road course. You got to capitalize on these opportunities. Another thing is saving fuel. Start that right now on your pace lap. Save all you can. Make those pit stops as short as you can. If you get an overtime, you got to hope you have enough fuel. And then also managing the equipment. Brakes, you have to manage that here. You can't run as hard as you want all day long, or you won't have the brakes you want. You need at the end. And then just the engine and transmission. Take it easy on those downshifts early on. Save a little bit of car for the end when you're going to need it.
You know, we've had rain here in New York, and so qualifying was rained out earlier today. We got lots of practice, some of the wet, some of the dry, no qualifying. So when we look at our starting grid, some big names throughout the field. Front row, Raja Pruth on the pole, alongside championship leader Justin Allgaier. Sheldon Creed supposed to start 3rd, but he crashed in practice. He'll come from the rear.
Yeah, it's got the field a bit jumbled up as we go to the next page. 12 career road course wins on this page. Connor Zilisch has 6. Shane Van Gisbergen has 5, and the 51 of Jeremy Clements won at Road America back in 2017. It's going to be fun to watch Connor and Shane try to come through the field.
Absolutely seeing them come through. What about Ross Chastain and the number 32 who's going to roll off 29th? He has top 10s in both starts in this car this season and 2 straight runs of 6th or better in his last 2 Watkins Glen starts.
As we get to the final page, Carson Kvapil making his 2nd start of the season in the number 91 for DGM Racing. He finished 5th in his only Watkins Glen start 1 year ago. He's starting 34th, so he's got a lot of places to make up, but he did that at COTA, had a great run in that car.
We referenced the weather. It's been cold. It's been damp here in Watkins Glen, but braving the elements are pit reporters. Let's hear from them now and start things off with Kim Kuhn. Stay warm today, Kim.
I'll try, Adam. Well, if you're looking for a pick today that's not Connor Zilic or SVG, look no further than Sam Mayer. Of Sam's 8 career wins, half of them came on road courses, including right here at Watkins Glen in 2023. Sam told me he considers himself a sleeper pick, and he likes it that way. He feels like there's less pressure with that mentality, and he even said that way he can under-promise but over-deliver. Crew Chief Jason Trincheri said the major thing for this afternoon is just to race smart, because so much can happen here at Watkins Glen, especially late in the race. Dylan Sam rolls off from the 5th position.
Kim, every time we come road course racing, Austin Green is one of those drivers that you have to watch. The road racer by trade is embarking on his first full season in this series, and as his confidence grows at every other type of racetrack, that makes him all the better here on a road course where he's at home and where he's most comfortable. He finished second on the Roval last fall, has never finished worse than 11th here at Watkins Glen, and he's another one that has some work to do starting deep in the field, but he'll be fun to watch as he works his way forward, Carla.
Rolling off P7 today. Of course, he's also another driver that says, I don't really love road course racing, but I do feel the most comfortable at the Glen. He said it's less technical, more flowy, and a track where high speeds matter more. Because of that, the 20 was able to run in the top 10 almost all race last season. Despite that comfort, though, that the 20 says today, he said today is all about points. He said you got to take advantage of the guys going for the win, and they're splitting stages. Brandon, currently the top Toyota in the chase standings. He's in 5th place, and of course looking to add more points today, Adam.
And lately, 8s have been wild for driver 20. 3 straight weeks he's finished in the 8th position, hoping for something better today. Saying what a lot? Scan the QR code to take a short free online hearing test at Starkey.com. Now let's listen to Team Radio, presented by Starkey. Here's the 00.
Famous words of an old wise man from Catawba County says, it's all like the windshield here. We ain't gonna worry about what's behind us. We're gonna worry about what's in front of us. Go out here and maximize the day the best we can. You're gonna pass a bunch of cars. We're gonna work some magic in here on pit road, hopefully. Get you some track position, and we'll be up there when it counts.
How do you not love Jonathan Toney? His outlook on life. If you've ever talked to him in person, that's exactly the way he is any of the time. But you know what that also means is there's an old saying called pressure from the front. Put it all out the windshield in Sheldon Creed's position. There's nowhere to go but up.
The analogies of Jonathan Toney.
Yeah.
I love it.
He can have his own reality show, I believe.
Indeed. Pacing the field today, a Toyota Camry.
That's exactly the way he is any of the time. But you know what?
Let's go to the restart zone, because it was a huge topic of conversation in the Truck Series race yesterday. Some changes from what we saw here a year ago.
Yeah, so this is sort of a see what's different on each side, but basically what we're trying to show is how the drivers yesterday struggled a little bit with seeing these lines that Jamie is circling here, and they've tried to beef up those lines, add some more identification on the sides. So if you're on the right side, there's more identification. If you're on the left side, there's more identification to help these drivers understand exactly where that restart zone is.
Well, it's a big story because it caught Ross Chastain and Gio Ruggiero off yesterday. Cost maybe both of them a shot at going for the win in the race. You see right here, Ross Chastain on the outside. You see he clearly launches early before that first line. You cannot do that. NASCAR called him out for that.
Which he admitted he definitely did.
And it was obvious here. I think this was a no-brainer that, the guys always try to go just a little bit early. I think in the other case it was a questionable call, but Gio got in trouble as well for that. But the fact that we saw that yesterday, these guys will have watched that. The Cup guys will have watched that. They will not push the limits of that now, knowing that they can get called out for it.
You can't go till you're in the restart zone as the control vehicle. You can't pass within the restart zone, but once you exit the restart zone, make the right-hand turn at turn 7 back to the start-finish line, it is on. 60 degrees at the green flag, coldest O'Reilly race ever at Watkins Glen. Front row, Raja Caruth, Justin Allgaier, teammates at Junior Motorsports. We are green at Watkins Glen.
One thing to keep in mind is they get down to turn 1. We talked about those tire packs you see on the outside. I think at the beginning of the race, guys are going to be a little more forgiving. You see Raja sails it off in the bottom, but if Justin can maintain on the outside, he'll have the momentum.
There goes Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer, row 2 to the point. Brent Cruz looking as well.
was going to mention, you mentioned the coldest O'Reilly race ever. Cold tires, cold brakes. You had to try and get those heat up in the pace laps. Looks like Raja and Justin maybe need a little more heat there in their cars.
And Kim referenced Sam Mayer early on, that if you're going to pick someone other than Connor or Shane, he would be somebody you want to focus on. Incredible road racer.
Well, and he benefits from the fact that his teammate has to start in the back. Creed was supposed to start third. Mayer's supposed to start fifth. That road slides up. That opened the door for Mayer to get the early advantage. One is Connor Zilich, 39 Ryan Sieg on board here with William Sawalich. This is our Toyota Racing onboard camera off the carousel, turn 5 to turn 6.
And you saw that new tire wall there as Brent Cruz goes the inside of Justin Allgaier for a second. Completes that pass. Justin will look to the outside into 7. Now he's in the best position here in the final corner. Be tough for Brent Cruz to put the power down.
Brent's going to have good momentum here. Try to stay beside the 7, see if he can outbrake him down into turn 1. Looks like Justin's not going to race him too hard here, knowing that the 19 might be a little bit quicker. We got to keep our eye on Brent all day long. Fastest right out of off the truck in practice, whether it was wet or whether it was in dry. You take a look back here at the start of the race, you see Sam Mayer is going to be the second row inside. I don't know that Sam did anything spectacular. I think it was more the front two were worried about each other and not what was behind.
The JRM guys tricked each other into going really deep into for whoa, what are we doing out here?
Hang on.
Brandon Jones went real wide there as well. Also saw the 99 of Parker Retzloff sliding in turn 1.
See Raja locked up that inside tire. It's really common at this racetrack. It's the lightest part as you're turning in that banked corner. Inside typically locks up. When that happens, you lose all the front turn as well, so you'll slide a little bit wide.
And I think Justin recognized that and gave Raja a little bit of space as well. It's a very veteran move by Justin Allgaier there, knowing that Raja probably overcooked the entry just a little bit.
Allgaier settled into 3rd. Raja is 4th. A couple of more junior motorsports Chevrolets inside the top 10. Shane Van Gisbergen and Connor Zilich. The drivers we'll talk about all day have worked their way inside the top 10 in the first couple of laps. And Jesse Love looking to make a move side by side with Brandon Jones into turn 1. The reigning champ looking for his first victory of the year inside the top 5.
Jesse Love made that look easy. Just kind of an over-under, slid right underneath Brandon Jones. See Brandon all over him back here through the S's, though.
But one thing you might have noticed there is that makes Brandon Jones vulnerable to Austin Hill. He gets in the back of him. Here comes Zilich to the inside.
Zilich going 2 for 1. And now the battle for the lead. I was thinking, Mayer, you better run away and hide, and he has not been able to do it. Brent Cruz is there for the top spot.
And Zilich is making quick work of the field. Started back in 12th right there. This is wild. He's up to 7th so far, but the leaders aren't getting too far out front as Brent's hounding Sam Mayer. But one of the things I thought I would mention there about Jesse Love that you might have noticed is a pass at this place, it always takes multiple corners. It's very rare you get a pass done in a single corner, and that's what Brent Cruz is going to be working through here to set up Sam Mayer's. Where do you get beside him, and then where do you complete that pass are two different things.
Yeah, this is a great option right here into turn 1. If you can, you see, no, not going to quite try that. Yeah, a little too far back. Kind of faked Sam out, though, and you see Sam had a little bit of a lockup right there, was still able to complete that pass.
Mayer dancing into the corner, and that loss of momentum opened the door for Cruz to drive by. Now watch that 19, 18 years old, made his debut on the road course at Circuit of the Americas and finished 6th, and has been nothing but impressive since that time. 4 consecutive top 5 finishes, and despite missing 4 events, is knocking on the door of a chase position.
And Brent Cruz, even with that pass, a half-second faster than second place Sam Mayer on that lap. We'll see what kind of pace he can maintain here when he gets out front, and also track Zilich, who is up to 6th right now. We know those two guys are going to be battling for this at the end.
Harvey's onboard camera. Sammy Smith, really good on the road lately. Working on a spot inside the top 10. JRM off to an incredible start, and now problems for Jeb Burton in the 27.
Yeah, this is down that he stopped. Looks like something happened. That he got some nose damage that maybe also punctured that left front tire. It's possibly happened down at turn 1 as Jesse Love is looking the inside of Raja.
This for 4th.
Yeah,
Zilich there as well.
Going to follow him through right here. Connor will then be in a good position to try to set up Jesse Love as we get down into the bus stop, which is the next braking zone. You want to stay as tight as you can to him right here. He's in a great position here. Jesse Love's out of position.
Look at Jesse's hands inside that car.
Yeah, and watch as they exit right here. Well, most likely, Jesse's going to give him the inside. Yeah, it is. Wow.
Power move. Connor Zilich able to drive his way into the top 5 and now 4th.
He's in a great position here.
And I think that was a smarter move there, just how loose he was through the S's. Maybe just follow Connor and see what you can learn from him and follow him through the field.
Dominated stage 1 yesterday, did Brent Cruz. And out front again today. And this move was key for the 19 to get ahead of the curve and take the top spot. We're off and rolling live at Watkins Glen on CW.
Loose he was through the S's. Maybe just follow Connor and see what you can learn from him and follow him through the field.
Dominated stage 1 yesterday, did Brent Cruz. And out front again today. And this move was key for the 19 to get ahead of the curve and take the top spot. We're off and rolling live at Watkins Glen on CW. Closed captioning for today's race brought to you by Tableau TV. Pay once, watch forever. Nearing the halfway point opening stage here at Watkins Glen for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. And I would say so far everything going about the script. I mean, you got Brent Cruz out front. We know how good he is. He's become the youngest driver ever to lead laps at Watkins Glen at this level. But the other drivers that came in making headlines, Connor Zilich, Shane Van Gisbergen, inside the top 10, and you saw it side by side. Wilson going for a ride here. No caution as he slides to a stop off of turn 6, able to drive it back to the pit lane. And he's not the only one having early problems. Patrick Staropoli has taken his car behind the wall. We saw Jeb Burton dinged up, so a few cars facing adversities early.
Ooh, and a lock up here for Brent Cruz into the bus stop.
Oh, that's a long lock.
Big one. Wow.
And normally you just lock up on the initial turn and then you get off the brake to make that left-hander. It's interesting to see that smoke come out that long.
Well, the team will definitely reference that to him. The spotter will have told him, hey, you had a large lockup, you know, be careful of that. You might change your brake bias to move it rearward a little bit to stop that. As we see Connor Zilisch hounding Justin Allgaier. Kind of feels like there's an impending storm here. Zilisch looks the inside. He's going to get there.
He's loose inside of him right there. You saw his hands working on the wheel. That corner, cars are loose anyway getting in. Allgaier gave him a little bit of extra room. Tell you, Brent Cruz got to the lead, but Mayer's keeping him pretty honest. Like, he got out to that 3-second lead, and then the lap times been pretty much matched to each other. Connor's been just a little bit quicker, maybe about a 1/10 of a second, but if this stays green, I don't see Connor being able to catch him, run him down from 5.5 seconds back.
We look at the Powerball power movers. Some big names on the list. Talk about Zilisch plus 12. Austin Green having a good start to the afternoon, plus 11. This has been a good track for him. Taylor Gray had issues at Texas last week, the guy that won at Kansas, so he didn't have a great starting position, but he and Creed on the move after Creed had to come from the rear. Chastain plus 9, driving the 32 for Jordan Anderson Racing. You got to believe with the cycles of a road course event, we'll be talking about all those drivers at the front at some point before the afternoon is out.
Well, what makes that so impressive with Connor Zilisch, though, is that he started in the front half of the field.
Right.
So he's passed the most cars, and they were the most difficult cars to pass. Those other guys all started towards the back of the pack.
Big slide there for Raja Caruth out of the bus stop as he tries to hold off Brandon Jones here. Down into 6. That's always a bit of a tight situation if a car peeks its nose to the inside like Brandon did to Raja there. But hanging out here in 7th, you know, started on the front row, obviously, but Raja admittedly is still working on his road course craft. Talked to him about that a couple weeks ago and just all the things he's trying to do to get better at road courses, understand it better, and a little lock up. I think if he's able to stay there, it's pretty good as SVG gets the inside of Jesse Love.
Moved the 9 up to 5th in the running order after starting in the 12th spot.
Yeah, Shane's hasn't moved through the field near as quick as what Connor Zilisch did. Still running great lap times back here in the 5th position. We saw that big lockup from Brent Cruz, who's leading the race earlier on, and it looked like his pace had dropped off, but he answered in the last lap. But, whoa, big lockup right there for the 88.
I saw Brandon Jones out of line coming to the bus stop, and I'm like, oh, this might get tight. Raja dancing around a little bit. Now they're stacked up going to the carousel, and look who might take advantage. Parker Retzloff, 99, trying to slide to the inside of Brandon Jones.
And the 88's got to be careful here, because it's one thing to race like that with a lap or 2 to go, but eventually these guys will get sick of you, and instead of losing 3 spots, you'll end up backwards or in a tire barrier. So he's going to have to manage his race a little bit better here and race smart. It's still early on.
Retzloff looks the inside of the final corner, doesn't quite get there. Yeah, and to your point, when you're getting swamped like this, you have to do the best you can to get back into rhythm, understand exactly what the situation is inside your race car. You don't want to keep locking up brakes like that, hurting the tires. Try to cool off the rears if you've been sliding them a ton. Those are really important for drive off at these road courses. Overheat the rear tires will sap lap time more than anything else in these race cars.
And when we're watching the 88, it looks like he's having to drive at 105%.
Yeah.
You see that car just sliding around everywhere, and everyone behind him looks very in control. So hopefully they can work on that and get it a little bit better for Raja. It just doesn't look like the car has the speed that he needs, but you just got to be careful. Don't lose your race early on here. As you see again, it almost looks like the back of that car, a little bit of a rear lockup.
And just out of the racetrack a little bit.
Very vulnerable place for you right here. If anybody gets into that right rear quarter, you see how that's downhill, so the cars are naturally just loose there anyway. Any help from the back, spin you around.
Austin Hill is going to be right there. Not quite. He slots in behind him.
Austin Hill being patient for now. We're past the halfway point of stage 1, 13 laps in. As we go to break, we take a look at our Mobil 1 leaderboard. It's been the Brent Cruz Show. He's out in front of Mayer, Zilisch, Allgaier, and Shane Van Gisbergen. As we go to break, we take a look at our Mobil 1 Cruise Show. He's out in front of Mayer, Zilich, Allgaier, and Shane Van Gisbergen. You're watching round 13, 2026 for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Second road course race of the year. We're live in Watkins Glen, New York. And somehow, some way, Rajah Caruth continues to ride in 8th. I thought Austin Hill might get aggressive with him, and now Austin Hill's starting to feel some pressure. William Sawalich looking good in the 18. Taylor Gray up there. Retzloff starting to fade a bit in the 99.
It's like the 13 rounds at Rajah Caruth that these guys are all taking shots at him, and they can't quite get him. He's had this group of cars behind him that he was obviously holding up. He was locking up his brakes, but somehow he has held them off lap after lap to stay in 8th. That's been very impressive because this car looks out of the racetrack, and these guys are all just fighting amongst each other.
Well, Rajah, he doesn't have the pace. Like,
No.
you see, like, Austin Hill's already caught him, but Austin can't time the run out. And then every time he mistimes the run, someone gets inside of Austin Hill, and he has to start that whole process over again. You think at some point he would get frustrated and move the 88 out of the way, but Rajah's doing a nice job holding them off.
And that is something that happens here. It's very frustrating, is that because it's so high speed, you can get stuck behind other cars a little bit in terms of just not being able to generate that run, not having a chance to move on inside of them. As Sawalich now out of the groove.
Yeah, William missed the bottom right there in turn 2. And look at that, he lost his momentum. Well, he might have a
really
problem.
So. He might have an issue here.
Well, that would be unfortunate because they've had a lot of bad luck lately. Got the win at Rockingham, first of his career. Bounced back, did a good job at Bristol the following week. And since that time, some major bumps in the road. His teammates go at it for 4th, headed toward turn 6. The 9 is Shane Van Gisbergen, and he slots over in front of Justin Allgaier.
2 fingers out the window, not only on the straightaway, all the way through the braking zones. You think he's relaxed and in control?
He's not comfortable at all.
Yeah, my goodness.
Sounds like the 18 might be having some motor issues. We went on board, you could hear it just sounded extremely flat. And one of the things that happens when you come to a road course is you almost see a little bit of smoke inside the cockpit as well. The engines, we talked about this in the Mobil 1 keys to the race. You've got to manage all that. Your downshifts are too quick and you over rev the engine, or just missing a shift can create massive engine issues. Kim?
Yeah, he came on the radio and told his team, blew up, I'm coming to you. That's all William told his team, but coming in now.
Well, it's not a huge margin around that chase cut line. To have problems today, no stage points, devastating for the 18. Austin Hill is able to get by Raja Caruth, so he's up to 8th. A couple of other drivers that have had problems. Unscheduled pit stop. Dean Thompson had a tire issue. He's a lap down. Jeremy Clements also made an unscheduled stop. He has stayed on the lead lap. And as we head to 3 laps to go this time around, could start seeing pit stops for those guys that are going to flip the stage, because we'll close pit road with 2 laps to go. Cruz, the leader, doesn't have to pit here. He can wait till the next time around, because he's going to be the one that closes pit road. But those guys behind him are going to have to start making their pit stops, and here they are. The first of those flipping the stage to gain track position beginning stage 2 is Connor Zilic. He's 2-0 in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at Watkins Glen. Scheduled stop for here for he and the 9, Dylan.
And Zilic on the left of the screen, pretty happy with his race car, as you'd expect. Drove from 15th to 2nd there, and his feedback was exactly that. I'm happy with this. I don't think we need to change too much. They'll change 4 tires here. No visible adjustments this time. A little slow maybe on the left rear there. They'll go around and change the right side. SVG on the right of the screen just wanted more front grip, but said the rear grip in his race car was coming to him.
You know, these two, are going to flip the stage, because they're not racing for points on a Saturday. They want track position. Some of the other guys that will flip the stage will forego stage points to get some track position beginning that 2nd stage. And Cruz, the leader, he's going to have to make the decision this time around. But we all believe they will flip it and try to maintain the track position. And he stays out this time around. How about that?
And one thing to note is we see some slower stops. Remember, these are backwards, essentially. You're pulling into the right, which is actually disorienting for the driver. It's different for the pit crew, so we do see a lot of pit road mistakes at this racetrack. And if you're further down pit road, it's actually downhill. We saw a tire get away in the Truck Series race yesterday. It's a very difficult pit road here at Watkins Glen.
If you go back to Coda, they flipped the stage. Talking about the 19 team.
Yeah.
And here today, they decide not to do that. They're going to run it long and take the points. Now, I will say, when you come in 12 below the chase cut line and you're on the climb they have been, you know how important points are. And I would also say a lot of guys, did choose to stay out there. So maybe you put yourself in a situation where you're just not going to lose as much by running it long and pitting at the end of the stage. But this is an interesting play here.
And we asked the question at Coda, why did they do it, right? When the points were so important, and I felt like here with his speed that he's shown this weekend, they might do it just going for the win and to keep track position, but only a few cars flipped, so they're not giving up much, and they get the points, which are so valuable to them right now to make the chase.
Yeah, we only had 6 cars actually flip the stage, so when they do come down pit road, it's not going to be that massive give up that we've seen in the past where maybe 20 people do that. You find yourself way back in the pack, so great decision there by the 19. As I watched the lap times, of course, we don't know how hard Brent Cruz was running, but Connor Zilic was about 3/10 a lap quicker than he was towards the end of that, the last few laps. So got a little bit of work to do maybe to the 19 to compete with the 1 today.
If you look at our bumper, and we talk about the element of stage points as Retzloff continues to race Caruth here. These are drivers that need them. Mayer comes in on the chase bubble. He needs to get on the positive side of it. Allgaier 3rd. He needs those points as well, because he's just been so good at padding his lead out front, being the championship leader entering this, our 13th event. Final lap, stage 1.
Raja's going to be wore out after this stage. He has been a battle the entirety of these 20 laps, constantly under fire and playing defense as much as he can, and that car just seems loose out of the racetrack. He's locking brakes, but somehow is in position to get stage points here, just trying as hard as he can to hold off Parker Retzloff.
I thought Parker might maybe try to outbrake him. It looked like Raj actually got loose on the entrance to the bus stop right there.
Brent Cruz working through some lap traffic. He dominates the opening stage, and he'll get the green and white checkered flag. How about this? He's the youngest stage winner in the history of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. He's going to set a lot of records, I have a feeling. Mayer up there inside the top 5. Allgaier, Love, and Jones. For Allgaier, he finishes top 5 in another stage. He's done it in every stage this year but 2, and will follow this battle back for 7th. Raja Caruth, Parker Retzloff, both chasing the stage points, and the 88 appears to going to stay in front of the 99. It was close.
Wow.
That was fun.
What a battle.
I about called it too soon. Brent Cruz getting it done here at Watkins Glen.